First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's watching this. It means you're interested in what's going on in the village, and so I appreciate your doing that. My name is Tom Wills. I've lived in the village overall for 28 years. The first 20 of it was in Northgate, and the last 8 have been in North Village. As I indicated, I've lived in Montgomery Village for 28 years now. I've seen things the way they've gone, and obviously have ideas and thoughts. And of course, not everybody has good thoughts, not everybody has negative thoughts, but the one thing they have is thoughts. Um, and for me, it's a matter of I've been here for 28 years. It's time for me to try to get on the board to see if I can uh, help solution and help serve the community versus just say things about the community. So I'm looking forward to trying to be on the board so I can actually take some action instead of just words. Since I moved to North Village, I decided to join the North Village Board of Directors and have served on that for approximately 7 years. Um, most of it, if not all of it, as the treasurer of the board. Secondarily, there was recently a parking subcommittee that was put together by Montgomery Village Foundation Board to try to investigate parking solutions. And I volunteered to serve on that board because it's something of interest to me. So for 27 years, I've been the controller, director of finance, VP of finance, or CFO from various size government contractors, be it 1 million in revenue and 10 people up to 200 million and over 2,000 employees. Um, as as part of my role, I've had to lead teams, obviously, the accounting and finance team. I've had to interact with outside stakeholders, banks, auditors, etc., as well as work with the internal stakeholders that would be and include the ownership as well as the executive level. Um, and I think serving in those roles and having that many stakeholders has given me a good perspective on needing to get information from and provide information to a variety of stakeholders. And I think that that would serve me well when I'm working on the board, trying to work with various and diverse board members as well as diverse communities. Let me preface my answer by saying I don't know what the board has already done regarding what I feel the priorities are. Um, so I don't want to assume that they haven't started to address it. Um, but having said that, I think the strain on the resources and the assets of Montgomery Village is priority number one. The construction in Bloom Village has created congestion. It's created problems with the roads. It's obviously increased the number of residents, which is of course going to put strain on things like the pools, etc. So number one priority is managing the resources and assets of the village uh, in this time of growth, building, construction. Not necessarily second, but what comes from all this increased population, of course, is going to be the potential for crime. There's going to be parking issues, which we already know about. So um, parking, strain on the resources, and potentially crime are certainly some of the top 3 priorities that I think that would need to be addressed. And I hope to address them serving on the board. Again, prefacing, I don't know what actions have already been taken. Well, I know the one action has been taken, that's the parking subcommittee to investigate the parking problems that everyone's experiencing. Having said that, I think one of the things I found from the subcommittee that I'd like to see us try to do a little bit more of is have subcommittees, committees, brainstorming sessions with residents from various parts of the village. Because I think it'd be helpful to get their perspective on things. And certainly when we're talking about congestion and we're talking about crime, um, having the perspective of a diverse group of residents, I think would be very helpful to us in implementing a solution. So I'm very keen on trying to pull together parties and focus on one or two issues. So you might have a multitude of subcommittees going on with residents, but instead of having residents come and speak for 3 to 5 minutes in front of the board and then move on, I'd like to see subcommittees that allowed residents to work together to try to focus on one particular issue that they've been designated to work on or volunteered to work on. As I just said with the previous answer, I think having residents participate in problem-specific committees is a great way to bring together a diversified group of people and have them participate in the problems. I think many times what happens is, residents see a problem, um, but don't really know all the ins and outs of providing or coming up with a solution. And I think A, getting different perspectives on the problem would be very helpful, but B, as part of the process and solutioning for the problems, um, they would get a better picture of how difficult it can be to try to actually implement things. And so I think those committees would be a really good idea to try to bring together the diversified group of residents that we have. Um, First of all, I do support the policy. I do want to point out that I think that the construction of Bloom Village is is was I would have liked to have seen that done differently than just being able to have somebody just come along and build a bunch of homes, because I think it strains the environmental policy. It really does. Um, but I think we have this big area. We have dedicated green space. And if you really want to balance when you come home, part of it is the environment, part of it is the wildlife. So I definitely support the policy in and of itself. And I think it's ironic, quite frankly, but this is really the first time that I even heard that we had an environmental policy in Montgomery Village. So getting that policy known to the residents, maybe expanding upon it, um, will allow people to take some actions to help support that as a community. So that question can go one of two ways, depending on the actions that are taken. I think going forward after the build out of Bloom, um, that brings about congestion. So, depending on what we do from here, the what Montgomery Village looks like in the future could be very different in a positive way or in a negative way. So we really need to think about the actions that we take from here. I'm not saying that the current board hasn't done that already, but um, I want to make sure that we do focus on um, how we can move on from here. So again, going back to bringing residents together to discuss problems and come up with solutions, I think is a great way to try to um, one, address the problems as they arise. Two, the ones that we know have been around for a long time, see if we can come up with ways to resolve them so we can improve um, or keep consistent the image of Montgomery Village, if you will. And three is look into the future and try to see where we might be uh, negligent, if you will, in having a consistent village with the rest of Montgomery County. So um, I think we have potential. I think we have some things we need to improve on, but I'm optimistic that we can get there. And pulling together various diverse groups of people to do so would be a good start, I think. I'd like to share with the residents that are actually looking at the video that I appreciate that, and let you know that, I don't take the interest in joining the board lightly. Um, you get in what, you get out of it what you put in, and I intend to put in effort, and I'm hoping that we'll get effort as a result. Um, the key is you guys are participating now, and that's crucial. I've noticed with um, the North Village, if you don't have enough people voting, then it's hard to actually implement solutions. And it also, um, well, what it says to people, well, are you really interested in the problem or you're not? If voting is difficult, then actually doing anything further can certainly be more difficult for people. So it's crucial that you vote, whether it's for me or somebody else. You need to vote. If you want a voice, this is your way to do it. So first, vote. Second of all, obviously I'm here. I'm interested in Montgomery Village Foundation and being on the board and trying to be someone that helps to investigate problems and come up with solutions rather than just complain about it. So I'm asking you to vote for me. So there you go. Please vote, and then please vote for me.